What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Stand Tall. It is September 3rd, and we are continuing with verses out of chapter 11, the 9 situations in the art of war. Verse 37, by altering his arrangements and changing his plan, he keeps the enemy without definite knowledge. By shifting his camp and taking circuitous routes, he prevents the enemy from anticipating his purpose. 38. At the critical moment, the leader of an army acts like one who has climbed up a height and then kicks away the ladder behind him. He carries his men deep into hostile territory before he shows his hand. So I think that follows up just a little bit with yesterday's reflection of, sometimes you have to keep from your men the plans until you're in certain terrain. He changes his actions and revises his plans so that people will not recognize them. He changes his abode and goes by a circuitous route so that people cannot anticipate him. Zhang Yu says, when people never understand what your intention is, then you win. The Great White Mountain Man said, the reason deception is valued in military operations is not just for deceiving enemies, but to begin with for deceiving one's own troops, to get them to follow unknowingly. That's deep in a dark sort of way, but there are reasons that people fight, and sometimes the greater good needs to be united for. And a good general is going to remind people what that greater good is, and going to get them in a position to where they fight. And so there's that sort of, I guess, view of it. I think let's continue and finish out another antithesis type reflection. So then Master Sun goes on to say, when a leader establishes his goal with the troops, he is like one who climbs up to a high place and then tosses away the ladder. When a leader enters deeply into enemy territory with his troop, he brings out their potential. He has them burn the boats and destroy the pots, drives them like sheep, none knowing where they are going. Cao Cao says he unifies their minds. Li Quan says, an army that comes back is one that has burned its boats and bridges to make fast its will. Since the soldiers do not know the plans, they do not think of looking back either, so they are like herded sheep. Okay, so that is, an interesting way to view your own troops, but again, that's also what leaders do. And so whether you're the military or you're the populace, these are tactics that are potentially being used to, you know, navigate the complexities of the geopolitical landscape and things like that. Verse 39, he burns his boats and breaks his cooking pots, like a shepherd driving a flock of sheep. He drives his men this way and that, and nothing knows whither he is going. So that just kind of, just to round it out, I didn't realize they'd be combining those two there, but what it is going on to say is that deception, and then you take everything away, and they have no choice but to fight. So it's interesting. Interesting. Let's see if we can gain and glean any insight by reading a verse from the Daily Stoic and see what kind of concepts get put up there to tickle the Eastern war philosophy. So Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman did this awesome book, The Daily Stoic. They have a series of other books out there as well. So I'm looking at one right now, and I've got one upstairs, The Daily Dad, also highly recommended. September 3rd, first, a hard winter training. We must undergo a hard winter training and not rush into things for which we haven't prepared. Epictetus, Discourses 1.2.32. Before the advent of modern warfare, armies typically disbanded during the winter. War was not total war as we understand it today, but more like a series of raids punctuated by the rare decisive battle. When Epictetus says we ought to go through hard winter training, the Greek word is kaimaskasai. He was disputing the notion, that's probably wrong, he was disputing the notion that there is such a thing as part-time soldiering, or part-time anything for that matter. In order to achieve victory, one must dedicate every second and every resource into preparation and training. LeBron James doesn't take a summer break. He uses it to work on other aspects of his game. The U.S. military trains its soldiers day and night when not at war, in preparation for when they have to go to war. when they do go to the war, they fight until it's over. The same is true for us. We can't do this life thing half-heartedly. There's no time off. There aren't even weekends. We are always preparing for what life might throw at us, and when it does, we're ready and don't stop until we've handled it. There is a lot here to unpack in and of the reflection itself, but we try to keep these brief. So my reflection is that no matter what happens in life, you don't have weekends. You can't really take it half-heartedly. You have to be prepared for whatever life throws at you. And so the same thing for with the art of war. It's like sometimes we do lose everything. Sometimes we do have to rebuild. Sometimes we have to go through things in order to achieve victory. And with the winter training and the summer training, I think the dichotomy is that you always have to be moving forward somehow. That's kind of the Stoic philosophy is just continual improvement and taking everything as it comes because it's been put there for a reason. And I think that we almost have an antithesis of that in the art of war, where we have a general who is being coercive and controlling, whereas the Stoics are not really all about that life. But Marcus Aurelius was a leader in many ways, and I wonder what he would say about deception and some of the things that Sun Tzu said. So I'm going to leave this one open for the comments. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts and opinions on how these two work together. Anyway, keep standing tall. We'll see you guys on the next one.